Hello, my most amazing artist. I hope everybody's having an awesome day. Let's go ahead and kick things off with our art class catchphrase. I make messes. I make mistakes. But deep inside, I got what it takes. I am an artist. Before we get started, big shout out to our two awesome sponsors, Ticonderoga, the makers of the best pencils, and also, side note, the best construction paper. I will be using their construction paper today. It's called True Ray. I'll also be using my favorite sketching paper that they also create. It's by their other company called You Create. So make sure that you check those out, especially if you're wanting to amp up some of the art supplies that you are using to create with me. And speaking of creating, did you know that you can create a gallery of your artwork online for free for all your friends and family to see? That's right, you can jump on over to Art to Remember, create yourself a free digital gallery, uploading all of your artwork with your phone, putting it directly onto their website. Thank you so much, Art to Remember, for being one of our amazing sponsors. Let's talk about what we're making today, but first, I want to tell you our word for the day. Our word for the day is self-portrait. Whoop, whoop. If I say self-portrait, whoop, whoop. You say self-portrait, whoop, whoop. You already know what to do, but what is a self-portrait? Whoop, whoop. A self-portrait is when you create a picture of yourself. Usually artists use a mirror to look at their reflection. You could get a mirror today if you wanted to. I'm just going to use my imagination. If you draw a picture of somebody else, your mama, your daddy, your bald-headed granny, that's called a portrait. So there's a big difference. Today we'll be drawing a self-portrait. Whoop, whoop. And we're going to be creating a picture of ourselves in space. How awesome is that? So the supplies you'll need are white paper, markers, crayons, scissors, glue, and construction paper if you have it. If you just have white paper, you don't have to cut your astronaut out. You can just leave it on your paper and decorate the background. We will be using the elements of art today, so why don't we go over what those are, shall we? That means you're supposed to clear your throat. Lines, shapes, color, baby, color, form, value, texture. What is that? Space. All right, get those pinkies ready. I pinky promise to do my very best, to finish what I start, to keep a positive attitude. Mwah! All right, guys, grab those supplies and let's get started. All right, guys, let's get started on drawing ourselves as an astronaut, our self-portrait. So this is a little bit what we're going for, but you can draw yours any way you like. In fact, the more interesting and original you make yours, the better. I'm gonna slide a piece of paper underneath here so you can see better. And I'm gonna show you a finished drawing just to give you an idea. So I'm gonna draw. Whenever I draw, if I go too fast, just press the pause button to slow me down so that you can get caught up. You could draw with a pencil first and trace with a marker, or you can dive in with, like me, with a marker. Let's go ahead and find the middle of our paper. Boop. Once you've got the middle of your paper found, we're gonna start with this curve right here. We're starting with this curve right here. So I'm going to draw a curved line near the middle, just like that. Okay, your turn. Once you've got that line drawn, we're going to make the top of the eye. If I trace it with my finger, it feels like a very tall rainbow. That's exactly what you'll be making. So I'm going to go up and then over and then come back down. Great. Now I'm going to do the same thing right here. I'll wait for a moment because I know you're getting caught up with me. I'm leaving a little space in between the eyes where I'll put the nose. So I'll put my finger here, bunny hop over, boop. And now I'm going to create that same line that I drew there. I'll draw it right there. Now, while you're drawing that, here's a thought for you. You could draw your astronaut self-portrait, whoop, whoop, with both eyes open, or you could make yours winking. If you decide to make yours winking, you could leave it just like this and maybe add a couple of eyelashes. I'm going to go ahead and open the other eye by drawing that same tall rainbow that I drew a moment ago. And now I have to decide, where is my astronaut looking? Off to the side, maybe something over here, down here at planet Earth? Think about it. Move your eyes around a little bit. Look up, look down, look over, look over. Think about where you could be looking. I'm gonna have my eyes looking down, as if my astronauts may be looking at planet Earth or the spaceship over here. Inside the eyes, I will add the pupil. The pupil is actually what you see with. It's that little black spot in your eye that can actually change in size. I'm gonna add a little highlight or a reflection in the pupil, and I did that by just drawing a circle and coloring it in. Now, if you want to add eyelashes, you can. All of us have them. They keep the dust and the dirt out of our eyes. But if you don't want to add them, that's okay. Next up is the nose. So many different ways to draw your nose. My new favorite way is like this, with a little line that curves out at the bottom. But you're the artist, you can figure out how you want to make that happen. Now your self-portrait, whoop whoop, could have a whole bunch of different kinds of mouths to show emotion. I'm going to give my self-portrait, whoop whoop, a big old smile. Big old cheesy grin. That I'm gonna end those lines with a curve. That helps to show that my cheeks are puffed up. Now I could leave it just like this, or I could open the mouth by making another curved line that goes down, over, and comes back up. You could add teeth and a tongue. Maybe I'll just add a tongue with 2 bumps. That's what I decided to do. You get to decide. You are the artist. Now let's draw the little screen that goes in front of the face to protect the face and make it so you can see out of your space helmet. So above the head, right above the eyes, I'll make a nice line, but notice that I kept my line close to my eyes. Now I'm going to decide, where do I want the chin to go? I think I'll put the chin right there. So I put a little guide dot, a little spot for me to follow. And now I'm going to make a line that repeats this one. So it's about the same length and it's going in about the same direction. So right there. Awesome. Now I'm going to draw the sides of the shield. And I might have to curve that line out just a little bit. Curve that line out just a little bit to make sure that I can squeeze all the parts of my cute little face in there. Give myself some eyebrows and ta-da, good to go. Now I added hair with a zigzag line here. I added hair with a curved line here. But if you take a look at this one, I don't have a lot of room for hair. I could draw maybe some bangs here, maybe some hair down here. It's a tight squeeze inside of that helmet. If you want to draw an extra line that follows that same group of lines that you drew, you can, but you don't have to. You could just leave it with one. Okay, now that I have that, let's work on this big circle shape for the helmet. So I'm gonna take my finger and I want you to do the same. Let's draw a nice big circle that goes around the face. I'm drawing a nice big circle that goes around the face. First, let's go ahead and put a little dot near the chinny chin chin. So a little dot right there. And now I'm going to be making another dot. This one's gonna go up here, kind of near the top of the paper. Now I'm going to connect the dots by using a curved line here that will continue this way, creating a circle. It's hard sometimes to draw these big lines. So if you struggle a little bit, try drawing it with your finger. that finger will train your brain and hand to know what kind of line to draw. So I've got one curve and I'll do the other on the other side. Now, when it comes to decorating your helmet, there's so many things you could do. You could add some lines like me. You could leave it plain. You could draw your country's flag. You could write your name. I'll let you decide. I just drew a couple of lines on mine. Now for some headphones so that I can hear. I'm gonna use a curve like a letter C. I don't have a lot of room over here, so my letter C is going to get a little bit skinnier. Maybe there's a little antenna that pops up. Ooh. Maybe I speak using a microphone that starts at my headset right here, goes over near my mouth, and there's an oval right there so I can talk. Notice I didn't do those things on this one. I liked this one exactly as it was. That was my decision. You get to decide. All right, so now let's go ahead and work on the body. Notice that the head is really big and the body is really small because we're doing what's called a caricature or a cartoon version of ourselves. So things are a little out of proportion. Some things are really big, some things are really tiny. That makes things more interesting and funny to look at. So find the middle of your circle, go over a little bit, put a polka dot, find the middle of your circle, go over the opposite direction a little bit, put a polka dot. Now I'm going to draw the torso, and notice I'm drawing the bottom of a square. The bottom of a square, but I'm also not going to the bottom of my paper. So I'll go down, down, across. And now I could decorate my spacesuit a little bit. Maybe I have some buttons on the side. You add whatever you want. I think I'll add a little belt right here. Once you're finished with that, I'm gonna draw 2 lines on each side. Now I'm making a cartoon version of myself. I have 5 fingers, but maybe my cartoon version only has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know I have to cut these out later, so I want to make sure I draw them nice and big. And any other decorations you want to add to your spacesuit, go for it. Now's the time to do it. Okay, now last but not least, let's work on the legs. I'm going to start here and make a short line that comes out. Notice that this short line that comes out does not go to the edge of my paper. At the end of this line, I'll draw a curve like a letter C or a rainbow. At the end of this line, I'll draw a curve like a letter C or a rainbow, and then I'll finish the other side. And then I'll finish the other side. This part of the body is symmetrical, meaning it's the same on both sides. This is the bottom of the feet. Think about what kind of texture would be at the bottom of the feet so that you can do some moonwalking. And now I'm just going to start at the bottom of the foot and go up. Start at the bottom of this foot and go up. Next up, you can color. When I'm coloring, I can use crayons, I can use markers. If you use both, that's called mixed media. You're using a bunch of different supplies. When you're coloring, you can color your spacesuit any way you like, but I'm going to use leave my spacesuit mostly white. So I'm not actually going to have to color very much. One thing I do need to figure out is what is my skin tone? Everybody has a different and beautiful skin tone. So what I like to do is turn my paper over to the back and then test out different colors for my skin tone. Okay, I think I'm gonna finish coloring this up and then we'll get ready to cut it out. Did I just say coloring this up? I meant coloring this and then we'll cut it out. When you're cutting your astronaut out, make sure that you have slow, safe scissors. Notice how I always use my non-dominant hand, or the one that doesn't really do a very good job of drawing and coloring, to rotate and turn my paper. Notice how I try to keep my scissor cutting hand straight forward at all times, making sure to go slowly and carefully and really pay close attention will be important when you're cutting out your astronaut. Now that my astronaut is all cut out, I can go ahead and decorate the background of my paper that I will use for my self-portrait. Whoop, whoop. So I'm using spirals, but usually a spiral looks like this, where it's a circle or a little spot where you go around and around as if you're making a circle, but you just keep getting bigger and bigger. But if you want it to look like a galaxy, it's the same idea, except you'll be using an oval. I'll go in slow motion. So I start by going around, but I'm thinking about an oval, how they are wide, not round like a circle. But you could also include some circle spirals. You could use your crayons and add some stars. You could do just what I'm doing and make a variety of spirals with your markers. So I'm going to finish this up, and now that my astronaut self-portrait is all finished, I can glue it to my background. When you glue goes around the edges. We don't need a big old blobbity blob of glue right in the middle. No. Glue goes around the edges. Right, let's go ahead and lay our astronaut here. Oh, I see there's some spaces where I could probably add some more things, but you could add anything you like. Maybe planet Earth, maybe another astronaut. Your choice. Flipping this over, getting some glue on the back. If you had as much fun as I did making an astronaut self-portrait, then don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to give this video a big ol' thumbs up. That helps other friends find the video too. If you subscribe, just know that new videos like this one are added almost every day, so you'll be able to catch up with all the fun. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll see you astronaut kids real soon. Ooh, it's out of sight, just like you.